name is Amber and welcome to my corner.
This video is going to go over how and why you should make a reference photo. The reason why I make one is to finalize my ideas. So here I had an idea to make a Moby Dick cow. I looked at rodeo thing. You see I wrote rodeos and had to study cows in different positions. And this is the final product. I could not, I believe, been able to come up with this if I had just sketched that out. Then another cow thing, these are just my examples, but I wanted to make a cow goddess. I was inspired by Alphonse Mucha, this painting on the left, and made a couple sketches here to hone that idea. And this is that final product. But you see on both of those, I also had to write down key words. And this is my most recent painting that I did of that Kali commission from my last video. I took some of my favorite images from just Googling Kali in different positions and then made a sketch of my own combining all my favorite things, and here's that final product as well. So the drawing that I'm going to be doing today, my reference photo, is going to be a present for my mom. I think for any reference you want to start with keywords that are your idea that are going to represent. So I wrote mom. Also, I'm gonna do almost everything in just regular pencil, but I did have some colors just to sort of play around with what the colors will be. I don't go full out till I'm doing the painting. So she's from Puerto Rico. I wrote Puerto Rico. She grew up in Kansas a long time. I wrote Kansas. Coqui is that fourth word. That's a native frog to Puerto Rico. Sunflowers is her favorite flower here. Then I kind of got stuck. I wrote hibiscus or flor de maga, and that's a flower of the maga tree, which is in the same family as hibiscus. But I was thinking, now that I'm writing my ideas out, I want 2 things from each place. 2 things from Puerto Rico, 2 things from Kansas that I can do on this wood board for her. So I was just brainstorming there. I couldn't really think of another Kansas item. I wrote KU and Red Robin, but I didn't really feel it. So now I decided I'm just gonna sketch out these different pictures and then maybe see what feels like it fits with the pictures. So I always start with a couple words. It doesn't even have to make total sense. Just start with a couple words of what's my general idea. So now I'm drawing the little cookie frog. Yeah, these are a really special frog and they're really loud. If you go to Puerto Rico, you'll hear them everywhere doing their mating call. It's like they're crickets there. Getting my big sunflower. This is where I decided I'm gonna do the really large center. Sunflowers that have shorter petals and thick stems. You know, the ones that can get like 10 feet tall. I like that one. So I'm gonna do that. Okay, and then drawing the sunflower and the cookie, I finally came up with my second idea here, honeybee. But this is all part of that process and why you have to just start mapping somewhere. If I started painting on this wood board or the canvas and I don't have my full idea yet, I wouldn't have known I wanted a honeybee. You know, then I'm trying to add things in later, but the composition won't be there because I didn't fully realize my idea yet. I never treat a final product as a sketch. Sketch beforehand, that's why it's called a sketch. You sketch it, okay, then I'm gonna spend tens hours really honing that painting. Alright, here's my maga flower. Really big, bright red hibiscus basically is what they are. So I just draw everything separately, get a feel for what these images are. I wanted to see this flower from 2 different angles, right? I did the sunflower the same way, feel out, okay. So I always do it left side. This is just mapping. Random words that represent your idea. Pictures that represent those words that you just wrote. And then you can take or leave anything. And then on that right side, I'm gonna start putting these things together, trying to imagine it on the wood board. that's my rough wood board, and I imagine if that's the size, I want this main sunflower to fill almost half of it. I want really big. So I don't get too detailed, but I do want it to look good enough that I can fully see my idea here. And then I stopped shading because I thought I'm gonna put a bumblebee on here. I don't know if bumblebees do actually eat sunflowers, but aesthetically it's gonna look nice. It'll look nice. Maybe it's just resting, you know? And those pauses in between are just me thinking. I'm thinking, do I want another big sunflower? So I decided I'm gonna put the one that's going sideways, and I like it to be everything facing towards the center of my image. And so what you're trying to do when you create a composition is allow the viewer's eye to keep moving around. You don't want their eye to get bored, but also kind of stray off the canvas. And so by facing the sunflower in, it's pointing inward and kind of keeps drawing your eye back around all the shapes and colors that I'm going to have on here. Even that leaf I put in the corner, I kind of curved up to frame it, start to make it look like this cohesive image that keeps drawing your eye back in, back around, and back in. Everything in the painting sort of points to another thing in the painting. By mapping it out also, I said I wanted the sunflower large, but this is really helpful to see the scale of things, because already I can tell that the space in the middle is not filled too much, and I'm going to want more stuff there. And maybe I'm going to make one of these hibiscus flowers larger and bring that sunflower in a little closer, that bottom right sideways sunflower, because I have this gap now there. And so that is why I map it out. So then I don't have to repaint anything, and I can see this full idea, because I don't want 4 of these hibiscus flowers. I think 3 is good small, 2 is good for the big ones. I'm happy with that. But yeah, mapping it out beforehand really helps with the sizing. So I used to think back in the day, before I went to art school, that it was cheating to look at a reference of something, that every artist had everything already in the brain, and that is simply not true. I definitely learned that the hard way. I had some wonky assignments because I thought I was supposed to have everything in my brain already. Look at reference photos. That's everything. That's what the world is there for, to look at and repurpose and recreate. It's definitely not cheating. If I look at myself in the mirror to paint a self-portrait, is that cheating? No, I have to look at myself to get all those tones in the crease of my nose. So you have to look at real stuff. Right now I'm just kind of going from memory of flowers, because I've painted them a lot. But when I'm painting, I'm going to be looking at colors in real sunflowers. If I feel like something's not right, I need to push this even further, I'm going to look at real photos of the Flor de Maga, I'm gonna look at real bumblebees, real fuzzy bumblebees, and make sure I get their anatomy correct. So I'm not gonna guess on this stuff. So I pretty much like what I've done here. I added a big sunflower leaf on the bottom, and I put that goki right there, so resting on the leaf. And then the bumblebees, one flying, one resting in a sunflower. I don't have I do have a green color pencil, but I just like to stick with the primary colors for this. That's my own prerogative there, but the blue will be my different shades of green for my leaves. Another great reason to do a reference photo is because now that I've laid out how things are going to overlap, that helps you in the painting process because we don't layer the paint how we make a drawing. I'm not going to go through and necessarily do all the outlines of everything, you know? Those leaves are behind everything, so I'll probably want to work dark to light in this painting. Now that I kind of know where my flowers are going to be, that's going to help me. I can do this flower centers, and then I could do the leaves and things like that, and then the bright stuff's going to be on top. So that's another really helpful reason to make a reference photo first, your initial sketch, so you know how to layer the colors when you start to paint. Because certain colors just are harder to put on top of other ones. So now I've come in, I wanted to move that sunflower in. I like my image at the bottom, you know, that's pretty much everything I'm going to do, but I wanted to see it with that space utilized better, things a little closer. And honestly, after looking at both, I decided I liked that little bit of space between some of those flowers in the bottom. The board I'm going to use itself has a kind of reddish brown tone to it, and so I think that's going to look really nice peeping through some of these flowers. So I'm going to go with the bottom one for my final image. Thank you so much for watching. This reference photo took me just a little under 20 minutes, so less than half an hour, to make my painting that much better and really refine my idea. This has been Amber, and I'll see you next time in my corner.